Hey, what is up guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. Want to do a super informal video today comparing the XRP price chart versus the XLM price chart. Now I just want to do some basic comparisons. It does not mean XRP will follow suit by any means, but by the looks of it, it absolutely looks like XRP does have a chance to hit $1 plus despite the current environment and the SEC allegations. Now, of course, I cannot guarantee that we're going to skyrocket to those levels and sustain those levels with the current lawsuit, but man, it really does look like it, and I want to show you a good dozen examples of what I'm seeing here. So keep in mind, if you have tradingview.com and you do pull up two screens, I highly recommend not only comparing XLM, go through ADA, VeChain, HBAR, any asset for that matter, algo, and they are all showing a very similar type of move. Now keep in mind, if you did watch the previous video, XRP is literally one of the only digital assets in the top 50 that has not had that massive bull run as Crypto Whale has shown. Now, why am I actually entertaining a more bullish perspective? Well, I'm going to show you on the weekly time frame with macro views that we have multiple golden crosses, we have multiple fib extensions that are yet to be met that every other asset has hit. I am talking 30 to 40 other assets that I've gone through that have all done this. Is XRP really going to be the single exception once again to this? You tell me. So again, none of this is financial advice. I simply want to share this with you because I found it to be pretty interesting. So as you can see here, I do have the fib extensions here, swing high, swing low, but I've actually chosen to start at the high level of September 2018 for the prices. So I'm going to try to speak slowly here if you're brand new, and be sure to like and sub. Right here, XLM, and you can do this with any other asset and you can play with it and tinker. So keep in mind with fractal analysis as well as incorporating even traditional TA, it is not very cut and dry. Please understand, I'm not just overlaying things and saying that's how it fits. That is not what fractal analysis is whatsoever. It is much more complex. So please keep that in mind. All right. So swing high, swing low. So we can see the high of September 2018. The low is March 2020 for both assets. So keep in mind, what has XLM done thus far? Well, we can see that we have retraced, rejected the 618 give or take, or the 702 depending if you're reading the wicks or the candle body closures, come back down, we tapped like clockwork, and fibs, as I say, fib extensions, they do not lie. No pun intended, fibs do not lie on these larger time frames for assets. 4 hours, it's hit or miss with them relatively. If you can catch a larger trend, you can at least see it and make a better prediction. But with weeklies, fibs are typically fulfilled. I can go through Bitcoin and draw, 50 different fib examples on different time frames that are larger, and you'll literally see them fulfill even when they go to the highest impulse extension of the 4.236. So just watch this. I think you're going to find this interesting. So notice, came through, rejected, came back down, checked the 382, and then blasted right through. And now we're en route to the 1618. Hypothetically, if XRP followed suit, which it seems like it is behind in the pattern, we'd be at the 1618 on this exchange, which is Bitfinex. That's $1.22. Now there's other gauges. Of course, I've shown $1.02, $1.12. My argument is the bullish case for XRP is not just 75 cents or 80 cents. I think we actually can go right to $1. And it's kind of pathetic that I'm even arguing that right now because we should be far surpassed that. But again, I really want to show you guys what is yet to come in the future. And I am that guy that actually still believes that gaps can close for assets at some point. So very curious with what will happen with the current regulatory landscape as well. And we're going to go over some recent news at the end of this video, so be sure to stick around. All right, so fibs, I showed you a few examples. You get the gist. We can push through that. I'm going to delete these now, and now I want to add a few other things. So next, this yellow line is the 50 moving average, just a simple moving average. The blue, as you can see up here, is a 100 moving average, and now I really utilize the 9 and the 21 EMA, exponential moving average. Historically, go through those assets and alts I named. You can go through the list. When they cut up, or even better, there's a golden cross, they shoot. So what happened here? Golden cross, meaning the 9 cut through the larger time frame, the 21 EMA, and it shot up consistently. So we had golden crosses here, and then later on the trend really started moving up, as you can see. And of course, I'm looking at Bitcoin doing the same thing, so I'm ensuring that Bitcoin is going to stay stable, or some of this volume going to move into the alts. Will Bitcoin keep running with all of this absolute institutional hype that I think is all planned? To each their own, but I want to pay attention to that. And now, remember, when we cut up, we rock it. And then also, just to make it a little cleaner, we have a 50 and 100 golden cross right there. What is yet to come if XRP can keep pushing up a little bit and retest this level that it rejected? The same concept. So typically, if we can kind of push through this level for good, that is very, very bullish, and I think that we can get those next targets. So I'm going to show you another thing now. So same thing right here. We have a golden cross, all right, in the past, and there's, you know, a variety of assets that have done this. And now we can take a peek at the stochastic and RSI. We're going to ignore the MACD for now, just because sometimes when I'm playing with these time frames, it's so goofy. But again, turning green on the MACD, so we could potentially see those bullish moves. Stochastic was already bottomed out. Yes, it can come back down and drop, but ideally we want it to follow this trend and keep moving up. Same thing, as we know. If you look down here, as XLM was coming up, what happened? Candles going up, all right? And now RSI in the same position. So hopefully we can cut through and pierce this purple. That's what we want to do, pierce those levels. So now we're going to leave that, and now I want to show the Fibonacci pivots. These are my main go-tos on a variety of time frames, but I really do like them on the weekly basis, all right? And they've been treating me extremely well in this market, at least with these alt runs. It's as simple as really just closing your eyes and throwing money at a dartboard, or just throwing a dart. So notice here, we're going to look at XLM first, because I believe that it rhymes relatively. It's at different points, but I still want to point it out. Right here, pivot, all right? This was the pivot. Remember what I say? Whenever it's at a pivot, it either, out of the two scenarios, if it pumps, it typically will go to the R2, R3 levels. Sometimes it does reject the R1, but I'm talking like 8 out of 10 times. When it dumps, yes, it will go to the S1. So that's what happened in the March 2020 crash. Now, my argument is, obviously, we see all these moving averages really curling up. We see a variety of golden crosses. We see, higher lows. You see a whole new trend forming. And I don't really think it's going to, break. Now, yes, we had that channel. XRP absolutely dumped. It closed the gap at that 17-cent range that we had. But what happened? It came back in the channel. So just like a variety of assets that are even pumping up, they can come back into that channel, just like in that video I showed and explained, maybe last week? So same concept applies. What happened? We're at the P. So we went up to R1, or this R3. We're going to use this R1 as an example. Rejected it, came back to the P, and when it retested it, it broke through. So that's the same concept. We hit this R1, rejected, came all the way down to the pivot, started forming again, consolidating, and we're en route up. So can we break through this? I'm aware of, double bottoms. We can see the cup and handle formation. You can do, inverse head and shoulders, whatever argument and whatever TA style you want to see, or if you want to try to draw some Elliott waves on this triangular channel, you can. My argument is, if we really do pump, yes, I see $1. I see it entirely possible. I don't think that's wishy-washy or too hopey. Even looking at a variety of other assets, that Grayscale, and keep in mind, there's a subsidiary, just like CoinDesk, of Digital Currency Group, DCG. It's an early investor in the company Ripple. And remember, Barry Silbert, as you guys know, stepped down as CEO, and he's working on even bigger things for DCG now. He was quoted, and I did a video on it, saying that XRP will be Swift 2.0, and he said this years ago, and now he's quiet, but you still know he has a vested interest. So interesting. Now, when assets, and I'm not going to say XRP is going to do this right now, but could it? Absolutely. This is the cryptocurrency market, guys. We saw XRP go well over 1,000% in a relatively short time. In a matter of 3-4 weeks in the past, it can do it again with even more utility, more volume, more hype than ever before, more wallet activations. There's a lot of arguments you could justify for a pump. Now, I could also be pessimistic and say, well, in the US, there's a lot of exchange listings that have been halted. Liquidity providers, institutionally speaking, are down because they're stepping back, waiting for clarity, so to speak, or at least that's the narrative we're being told, and we're at 51 cents. Well, that actually could be justification that shook everybody out at these levels, and now we're pumping. And we could go a lot higher, because now most people have given up, or they're going to say, I'm leaving XRP until there's clarity, or hopefully Ripple gets, has settlements with the SEC. So there's a lot of perspectives. I've kind of been bouncing between them, and I'm all over the place. But my plan, I have my long-term bags. I've been accumulating for several years. Whatever it decides to do, I'm okay with it. And that's just kind of how it goes. And I'm going to keep monitoring this. And I believe that it is XRP's turn. So same concept. I think we can get to those R3s. And if you've looked carefully at even other assets, when they pump through here, notice XLM's just in a league of its own, just like ADA. We're going to pull up ADA too. Notice it. What is it doing? It's potentially en route to the R3 at 60 cents. If you guys remember, I do a lot of Twitter polls and I try to seem unbiased, but I already have my kind of preconceived notions. And I said, do you think XRP will, or I mean, XLM will pump to 60 cents? And it was, going to be an easy 50% return in the coming weeks. And I was looking at the chart, I was looking at everything, and then going top down analysis from, monthly, weekly, 5-day, 3-day, 1-day, 23-hour. You go all the way down and study it. You look at consistency across the board, and of course, see what Bitcoin's going to be doing in the meantime. And when you consider and you look at all of this, how much money is being printed? 100 million Tether. Go to Whale Alert. You can follow and keep up to date with all of the Tether, and you can literally click these balances and look at the transactions that are happening. You can see the amounts that are transferred. You can see the amounts that are minted and artificially printed. So same thing. Crypto Whale posted this. $1 billion printed out of thin air. We have the cryptocurrency market at almost $1.4 trillion. You're telling me that XLM cannot go to 60 cents and XRP can't pump to $1 in a relatively quick manner? I would not count it out. Now, I'm not going to guarantee it, but I want to show you just the things that I'm considering when I'm looking at this market. Of course, I have long-term holdings, long-term bag. I will not touch it for the years ahead because I'm not about to sell XRP at $1 before it goes potentially to $10, $1,000, whatever it may go to. The sky's the limit. I can't make a price limitation because that's a price prediction. When we have higher highs in this market, we break out of the channel, we can draw some new fibs, try to guesstimate new targets, just like anybody. So we want to get more data. We want the charts to keep printing. And I just highly, highly recommend, just like, let me go to Crypto Whale's page, guys. Definite follow. Same concept. And I shared this in the other video. Bitcoin has skyrocketed. Ethereum's chart skyrocketed. ADA skyrocketed. Polkadot skyrocketed. Binance Coin skyrocketed. XRP's right here. And you know what? The idiots are going and FOMOing into other assets that are already up 500%. I'm buying the blood. I'm going after other assets that have not done these moves yet, whether they're microcap alts in the DeFi space and taking some gambles, or looking in the top 300 for very, very promising assets that people are not paying attention to. Those profits, I'm going into XRP. I'm going into any assets that have not popped, and then I'll keep swinging between these assets and just jumping and dancing. I like to say dancing between these trades. So that's the way I'm seeing it. That's how I'm handling it on Patreon as well for Cage's Trades members. All right. So back to the chart really quick. We're going to do one last thing because this is literally just freestyling. And there's, a million things. I'm going to finish up the video and be like, oh, I wish I showed you. So ideally, this is en route and it looks like to that next R3. I can draw other fib extensions as well just to be curious. I would like to actually get some, I should have used a different exchange instead of this guy because I'm actually not too happy with this price history. I should have did a different one. Nonetheless, let's just go here. And we'll just look at this high on Bitfinex. I almost said Bittrex. And now notice, you can get some high positions, of course. That's why that high moon scenario for XRP later on, at least the first moon stop, is $10 to $15. Double digits. Do I believe after that we can go to $50, $100? Yes. That's exactly why I do so much research and I believe this opportunity. And this is, I believe XRP is going to play a huge role in this financial system, and it's a black sheep in this ecosystem for a reason. I'm probably going to go over the news in the next video, so be sure to tune into that. But I just want to show you a few of these examples, all right? Now let me do one last one, and we'll just pull up ADA, or ADA. Long-time holder of that. I really wish I had more now, because I sold off like probably 300,000 plus at a low price. Let's just leave it at that. So it would have been very nice to have that in my holdings. I still have a lot, but not what I wanted. Let's just say that. But hey, that's what happens when you own 30 plus assets. You can't have big bags of everything. And at the end of the day, a blanket strategy can mess you up, but it can also help you overall because my portfolio is still up massively during these runs. Even though my position in XRP is huge, and I think it's going to absolutely work out in the long term. I have hands of steel, just like the XRP community. I'm not about to give up when it gets tough. We're going to earn our keep in this space. Algo, love this baby. I've been buying this at 15 cents, 18 cents, 22 cents, 30 cents, and it is at $1. Do I think XRP is going to go, $10 plus in the future? Yeah, without a doubt, zero doubt. And if you guys did like my recent Instagram picture, what was that quote I shared? You are as wealthy as you are certain. And I have zero doubt in the XRP ecosystem. We had the company Apple years ago even quote and say Interledger Protocol by Ripple is the Amazon of essentially value of, the Internet of Value. That is absolutely insane, of routing or value rather than just goods. So same concept. We're going to look at ADA. What happened with this little sucker? Well, same thing. Relatively speaking, we're at the pivot, right? We're at the pivot. I'll just kind of make it a little sloppy. So we're stuck at the pivot right now. We hit, chilled a little bit, consolidated, and blasted off. Now you can read this a few different ways. You can read this peak as this peak, whatever you want. My argument is that XRP can absolutely, in the weeks ahead, on the weekly. So if we come back down and you're at, 40 cents, oh, Kevin, you're wrong. You're not looking at the macro. Those are, emotional traders that are new to the space. You have to zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. And you have to let the charts breathe. If you're always watching the charts, they're not going to do what you want. Whenever my assets moon and pop off and I'm up 50%, 100% on a trade, it's when I'm not looking. It happens every single time. I'll be on the PC or whatever forever, or I'll be on the phone or my phone just checking prices late at night, and it always takes off as soon as I look away. So a watched pot never boils. Notice ADA had this golden cross. Of course, anything does typically when it has these runs and it goes lower to highest. These moving averages get in position. It's actually just a very opposite way of looking at things. I understand how it works and how the data is actually plotted. But give or take, when I play with smaller moving averages, it does actually give me some insight, and it's always been helpful. So I know it's a very, very unorthodox style. But my style is not to be like everybody else. So I'm not here to fit in. I am here to make money and make gains and hopefully help people figure out what, is good for them. They don't have to agree with me. I'm wrong sometimes, just like anybody. But we're all here speculating in a market. We're allowed to talk about price because this asset class has already and will be changing lives in massive ways. So I'm beyond excited for what's to come, right? So argument, R3, absolutely. S1, that would be absolutely insane. That would have to, this type of level for a crash, that would close the gaps for XRP, by the way. But it just seems crazy from now, because that means that we would have to, even on Poloniex, we'll pull up that chart really quick, and we've talked about this a lot. I know Mr. Level Up, GC Holder, a lot of the other guys are talking about this possibility. And a lot of other people ignore it. And I utilize gaps, but this S1, remember, we've never checked down and retested these levels. So this is just basic TA. We never retested and checked this. We came down here, but we never quite came down. So that seems too good to be true to me personally. Am I prepared for that scenario, mentally with buys? Oh yeah, always. Utilizing an OTC broker, whatever you got to do, guys. Links are in the video description. If you're a US investor and you are looking to buy, more than, 5,000, 10K at least of XRP in the future, OTC brokers are the way to go, such as Caleb and Brown. Links are in the video description. 24/7, 365 uptime and reliability. I don't have to deal with going onto exchanges, and then all of a sudden the server goes down or it crashes like Coinbase. I'm not dealing with that. Not anymore. I spent several years having, 30 plus exchanges. We're beyond that now, right? So we'll keep that, in mind. This R3, I hope the fund keeps going. I hope Bitcoin keeps consolidating at this 40K levels, and time will absolutely tell. So I encourage you guys to kind of look at this from a different angle. I'm sure some people will absolutely hate this video, but so be it. I want to show you some basic things that I'm looking at. I always keep my good secrets to myself, or at least for Patreon members. But nonetheless, I do believe that it is possible for us to get that push. So we can kind of look at these levels at 66, that 75 cents has been crucial, of course, and then of course $1 plus. So be smart. You guys decide for yourselves in terms of profit taking. You can look at other assets. I know they are, completely rocketing and just keep going, and I hope they stay up here. And sometimes the stochastic can run sideways, meaning it can just keep running. So same concept with AVAX, which is another one of my babies, and it's literally like one of the biggest performers I have besides QNT. And look at this. We don't really have a lot of data on the weekly, but the stochastic just starts running sideways. Same concept. I'm going to put up the daily. I know I did a video. See this? We can literally, of course, typically they, come back down on the daily, but some assets like microcap DeFi projects, that 20x, they can just keep running sideways right there. That was a bad drawing, but it runs sideways in the chart, just keeps going. So remember, AVAX, XRP, Flare, Spark Token, Ethereum, they're all going to be working together for the future of DeFi. Do not sleep on these assets. And the people that are going to be chasing these other gains, I think, are going to be ruining the day. And remember, investing, it's not about IQ, it's about psychology. Who can outhold the other? Are you really going to, after being here for several years, sell your XRP at probably a small profit right now in order to chase something else, and then right then we, shoot up to $1 plus? I'm not willing to make that or take that chance. So in the meantime, I just have a smaller bag of trading bag that I use to trade and gamble, so to speak, my crypto and make educated decisions. Trading. Now with my long-term bags, set and forget. And I just want to keep saying that in every single video because I do not want anybody trying to swing trade 100% of their XRP. It is just way too much. I care about mental health. I've had issues, and I just really want to ensure that people do not make the same mistake that I have in the past. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to comment down below a favorite altcoin that I should be looking at, whether it's in the DeFi space, the top 500 alts. I want to start looking and really expanding my horizons. I appreciate you guys as always, and I will catch you in the next video.